So you had an observation,
Yes.
and the observation or insight, what was it?
So yesterday after class, and we were just chatting, and one of the things that I realized, even as we were, and I wanted to highlight, even as we were walking, is I guess you would call it the comeback, the ability to bounce back from the incident in the classroom, because people tend to hold grudges. So just, without even realizing, we was just like, we were chatting about what happened, da 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 da. But, when I realized what people hold grudges for things that just really little, very, very small things. And I just didn't even want to gloss over the fact that we just kept, on like, okay, yeah, that was that. We did it. We had a conversation about it, and we was like, oh, it's one Union Square. I'm going to Whole Foods, and that was it. But it seems insignificant or minor, but it's actually, in the grand scheme of things, in the way people communicate, it's major.
Most definitely. I had when I first started to teach this class, it was the second year I did. The classes used to be a lot bigger then, because I would do during the week classes are much bigger, and the program was much bigger back then for whatever reason. I think more people are gravitating to online now, so the classes are much smaller. Back in 2005-06, classes were 25 on average. And so you would put people in groups like you would today, but just imagine there's 5 groups. And sometimes the groups are even bigger. So there may be 4 groups of 7 or 8. And we did an exercise the first day, and at the end of the exercise, it got very heated. Because there were a lot of international students and American students, and it was mixed, and it was close to the financial crisis. People were on edge.
Wow.
Yeah. And so at the end of the class, it got very, very heated. And one of the guys came up to me. He said, I'm going to drop this guy. He said, this is not what I signed up.
Yes, it is.
But I told him, I said, this is, you're going to enjoy it. I said, this, getting upset with people, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's to recognize what's happening with you. Because if you can't recognize in the classroom what's happening with you, it doesn't prepare you for outside of the classroom. So the goal is to take what happens, observe your own behavior, see what you could have done differently, because you could have always done something differently, right? As I always say, in terms of conflict, conflict is really about what role did you play in the chaos that was created. Always more than one person. It's never about we always have this feeling, she was such a whatever. He attacked me. Okay, that may be true, but what role did you play? It takes 2 to tango, right? It takes 2 hands to clap. And so I encouraged him. I spoke to him for about 15 minutes. I said, try 1 more week. Stay. Don't drop the class. And so he ended up staying for the full 10 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever, and he loved the class. But that was my first experience with it, and it happens a lot. It happens, it happens a lot when I do this class with my corporate clients, because the corporate clients is even more intense because people know each other.
And they're applying whatever
to work. They're taking a pretend exercise.
With those people who and they're letting it out. I think one thing I noticed from yesterday to piggyback on that is that you, in the beginning of the class, said you were here to observe us, to see how we react.
I was your mirror.
What you did is the simulations essentially to me are a stress test. And almost kind of like that Monsters Are Due on Maple Street Twilight Zone episode where everyone's put in an extreme situation with a few people who they know and the veneers are gone. And you encouraged that behavior, and so I took it upon myself and I told her to be at first I was like, do you see why Noah, you are 100% right, but do you see why Noah listened to you? But then in doing that, I got annoyed. I annoyed myself because I took that extreme reaction and then something happened psychologically. So it's like, okay, how do you step back and look at that? Where I was just being like, hey, look, that's what happened. I'm like, well, now it is.
Mhm.
You know, like what?
Mhm.
But it's good because we are in a controlled environment. So like,
Exactly.
see it now, observe it now. This is
And
why
that's what
you're
I try
here.
to tell people. If it gets out of hand, I'm here. I will handle it.
Like your life and your job and your whatever, your security's not going to be affected by it. So like,
Exactly.
do it now, learn it now, because as you climb that ladder, you're going to be dealing with a lot of coups.
Yeah,
Like, you'll be
exactly.
one of them.
Right.
Like, so you might as well
Exactly.
just do
Exactly. It is so important. It is so important. And you know, all the classes I teach, I try to make it as introspective as possible. The Creating Teams class is very similar to this. And the
Bless you.
bless you. And the auto supervision is also similar to this, except it's more one-on-one role plays. But really, it's about how you interact with your supervisor. You know, as a coach, as a client, as a executive coach, clients come to me, and you know, I created a whole website on it. I created a whole program on it. I'm doing this whole leadership is influence certificate strictly online, just based on questions people come and ask me, either after class, during class, or as clients after. You know, as private clients after. And people always ask me, so how do I get my boss to? How do I get my coworker to? And the to is always something about getting them to do something for you. And so what that person is asking me, people always ask me questions on its influence. How do I get my boss to listen to me? How do I get more people for my department? How do I get the client to? And it's influence. And what you practice in here is influence. Every class, every bit of understanding and intellectualizing people do is in an attempt to learn to influence. But what they do is intellectualize. So, you know, I had this one guy many years ago, and he would buy every possible book on psychology, emotional intelligence, and he would come and tell me, I just bought this, do you think it's a good book, should I read it? And he took about 5 or 6 classes with me. And what he didn't realize, you know, he would read the book, but he was not interested. So what happened in the classes? So he was in this one class with me. This was the 3rd class he was doing with me. It was Creating Teams and Partnerships. And it wasn't a weekend intensive, it was 10 or 12 weeks at the time. And so the class was divided into groups, and they had a project that they had to work in a team on. Kind of like your project management certificate.
Yeah.
A lot of your classes are like that.
Yeah, the first one.
Right. And so after week 2 of the project, 2 of the students in I was about to say his name, in this person's group came to me and they said, we can't work with him anymore. I said, well, you kind of have to learn to, because no one else wants to work with him. I can't exactly put him in another group. So now, what they were saying, the reasons they didn't want to work with him were valid. You know why? How I knew? Because I didn't want to work with him either. Because he irritated me in my own class.
What was that?
He was not insightful, and so he wouldn't see when he would dominate, when he would interrupt, interject. He had a know-it-all disposition. I like people to challenge me, but he challenged on things that he knew nothing about. And so he would disrupt the class, because when he's challenging, you would see all the people in the class rolling their eyes. And so it was disruptive behavior, but not in a way where you could say you're being disrupted. And so it was a learning for me. But he was a very nice guy. He just didn't see himself. He really wanted to learn. He just could not see himself. And so 2 weeks, the students came to me, they asked me to get rid of him from the group. I had to say no, I empathize. The next week he comes, he says, I need to be in a different group. These people don't know what the hell they're doing. I looked at him and I'm thinking, actually, you are the problem, not them. That's what I'm thinking to myself. But I didn't say it to him. And why did I not say it to him? Because he wasn't ready to hear it. He couldn't handle it. I made a judgment that he couldn't handle honesty. And so if it's one thing I want you to get from this class is the ability to handle honesty. Honest feedback. Because when you're not capable of accepting honest feedback, the feedback stops. And that's the last thing you want, is feedback to stop. You know, I used to tell my staff when I had employees, I would tell them, the last thing you want me to do is to ignore you. When I ignore you is when I'm looking for your replacement. So don't get upset that I give you feedback that you didn't like. It means there's hope. It means I think you have potential. Right? So if I tell you something and you roll your eyes, you shrug your shoulders, you dismiss it, you become argumentative, it's fight or flight kind of attitude, then the next time I'm just gonna say, okay, go ahead, do it. Go do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. And so the fact that you could say what you said here today is extremely important, and it's the whole point. Let's hope you could say that again today at the end of today.
Yeah, I don't know.
One day at a time, one day at a time, one day at a time.
This one's interesting.
But you should. I am happy you gave me that feedback. I'm really, really happy you gave me that feedback. Because that's the whole point. That's the whole point. And so I also want you to think about it from the point of view, feel free to be yourself and say what you would really want to say to this person and explore the negativity. I want you to explore the negativity. What I don't want is for you to be guarded because of yesterday to say, okay, I don't want to do this again. Just be yourself. Just be yourself, be who you are, and let's explore the negativity. The negativity is fine, it's great. It's a classroom. It's not real. We are protected in the four walls, so it's okay.